Hello everybody, welcome back to another J Mars Hands video, and today it is raining, so I gotta come up with something to do. So what I'm gonna do is gonna clear up all the confusion about connectors. Now, it just came up that Apple's finally switching to USB-C. Like, is so dumb that they haven't switched for so long, and now finally, like, my Samsung doesn't have to be out to dry when everyone around me has an Apple and I need a charger. And okay, anyway. So, we're going to talk about connectors. Now, the first connector, and probably the most ubiquitous one, is USB-A. Y'all are probably very aware and familiar with it. Whenever someone says USB, they're referring to USB-A almost all of the time. And we're going to talk about what the purpose of this is. Now, this is what like the wall charger is. This is actually an Apple one, or this is actually an Apple one. I believe it is 5 watts. And what this does is convert AC power from the wall into DC power that your phone can actually use. And that is why these are two separate parts and aren't just like built in. And how fast your phone can charge is actually limited by this. So if you get a nicer one like this, which is actually USB-C, this is 5 watts, this is 30, and so your phone will charge faster off of this. And when Apple used to provide these with their phones, they'd give you really like this, like 5 watts is really slow, and so to save money. But anyway, let's talk about the next connector. Now, another really ubiquitous connector is micro USB. Good old micro USB. This connector is really old, and I don't really like it. Y'all have probably seen it a lot. I don't have an example of what the port looks like, so I'll put it like right there. But basically, it is USB-A, but smaller. Also, it has an extra pin. I don't know if that gets better data transfer or whatever, but yeah, this is micro USB. Next up, good old mini USB. Now this one, I really don't like. I've got an example of what it looks like on the blue snowball. That's mini USB. This is mini USB. I do not know what standard this is, but it is not mini USB. Okay, so I got an example of it on the blue snowball. Basically just another version of micro USB, but I find these like their connectors suck more. There's just like more wobble, and I don't like how it feels as much. Okay, next up we have the glorious USB-C. This is the best connector. It feels really good, not like as much wobble. The way it's like it's got this like grounded shroud makes it pretty durable. This side of the port actually isn't very durable, but that's okay because it has faster data transfer speeds and everything else. It's like way smaller. It's like, this is what's going to replace USB-A. Like, eventually computers are going to stop coming with these ports and are going to start coming with these ports because they're so much better. But yes, this is known as USB-C. This is the standard that Apple is switching to. And the thing we love about USB-C cables is they're almost always double-sided. So this plugs into a wall, this goes into here, this goes into my phone, my switch, my headphones, because USB-C is universal serial bus. Universal. Any company can use this. They don't got to pay royalties to anyone else. It is a beautiful connector standard. It is a beautiful thing to have universal connector standards, because if you're traveling, like if I'm traveling with my Switch, my headphones, and my phone, and my Switch controller, I can just bring this cable, and I can just, like, who needs power, bro? Like, you know, and it's so nice. But next up, we have the arch enemy of me, lightning. And I don't have an example of what the connector side looks like, but I'm sure all y'all know. Here's why lightning is so god stupid. It is a proprietary connection, which means that if any company wants to be able to make this connector, they have to pay $4 to Apple for every connector that they sell, which means that inevitably this shitty, slow ass connector that feels terrible to put in, that the port clogs up really easily, inevitably will always be more expensive than the better connector. And Apple stuck with it for so long because they're making like so much bang off of getting $4 off of every time a stupid third-party company made one of these. And it pisses me off that people defend this stupid connector and they think that everything should be this when it's our connector. And also, the Apple iPhone 15 is still capped at USB 2.0 speeds. So what's the point? Anyways, there's one more, and it is good old 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Now, interesting about this connector is that it's an analog connector. Everything else that we've been talking about, these are all digital connectors, which means they've got like a bunch of pins in there and they all go. They're basically speaking in Morse code, right? So they're like sending out pings of ones and zeros, like on, off, and depending on the timing, etc., they send data that way. This goes wow, 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 wow. So it's like depending on the strength of the signal on each of these different sections, they can get different audio, and you can send like some of these can have a microphone go through them. If you're wondering what these things are, it's called a ferrite bead, and basically, like if there's like little like electromagnetic magnetic signals that are like kind of bouncing around on the cable, it deadens it, it like kills it. So I'm pretty sure there's like a rock in here. But anyway, that is the short story on modern connections. Now, I don't really have any expertise on this. This is just experience and things I learned like looking stuff up on the internet. And I think this is like a giant blind spot in the modern person's knowledge, like the average person. And so I feel like being educated on that will help you make better tech decisions and like buying decisions. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. If you subscribed it, subscribe it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.